Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Julia Holter album, Loud City Song. First off, just want to say, I'm happy I'm back, happy I'm doing reviews again for you guys. I missed you. I even missed Cal.
You really real life missed me?
Yes, I did. I missed you so much. I even wrote a song. Just for you.
Oh boy, sing it!
I will. Well, I didn't actually write a song. You're an idiot. I hate you so much. Julia Holter is a California singer-songwriter. She has several studio records under her belt. This is the latest. And she is a musician who I have been a little weary of because of her past work for a while, because of how dreamy much of it tends to be. And while that aesthetic isn't bad, there wasn't much vocally or musically that was kind of stopping me in my tracks and making me say, wow, holy crap. However, this new LP of hers is a slight change of pace, and enough of a change of pace to get me to say, wow, holy crap. For the most part, Julia's songs are still abstract, slow-burning ballads, but the instrumentation on Loud City Song feels very, very upfront, center, tangible, detailed. Yes, there are synthesizers on this LP. Yes, there are vocals on this LP, but these songs are also beautifully layered in these just tangible strings and horns, making for a record that yes is art pop, yes is dream pop. It has some characteristics of chamber music and a bit of jazz in here too. I would actually say a bit of musical theater seems to seep through on the opening track to this thing, World, which features Julia Holter singing these very dramatic lines, which are delivered with this faint, delicate singing style. Julia being very subtle and tender on this track. And she comes through with these kind of abstract lines, tipping her hat to hats, as well as misters and mothers, cities, this no-named girl who is singing on the 5th floor of an apartment building, which she later reveals to be herself. She's asking herself questions like, how can I escape you? What am I looking for in you? There's this great sense of longing that sort of permeates nearly every track on this album. Even as the music gets increasingly more bubbly, bright, cloudy, blissful, like the song MAXIMS, which has these very puffy string sections gently pulsating against these wailing strings that are just crying away in the background. Julia comes through with her beautiful voice again on this track, but is much more animated than on the previous song, and brings through a little bit of whispered spoken word on this track as well, which is a technique she uses at a few other points on this thing too. For example, the song In the Green Wild, which for a good chunk of the song features just Julia kind of blending these elements of singing and talking against this very busy upright bass line. It's kind of a fun, captivating, more playful side of Julia. And on the flip side, we have more spoken word right at the beginning of the track, Horns Surrounding Me, which maybe isn't spoken word as much as it is just straight creepy, with Julia recording herself or somebody else running from what sounds like horns through the woods, whispering, oh my god, they're getting me. It's kind of like the Blair Witch Project, but like B-L-A-R-E for blaring horns. Music joke. However, this is one of the tracks that maybe I wasn't completely enamored with because Julia was getting drowned out a bit by the horn. She is kind of a subtle singer. However, maybe that was kind of the point with the horns surrounding her. Because after all, her voice does cut through the mist of instrumentation beautifully on the track Hello Stranger. And this, of course, is a nice contrast from one of the more harder hitting songs on this LP, MAXIMS, which features these multi-track vocals from Julia and this tense rising instrumentation. Julia does bring quite a bit of diversity to the table on this thing. I am really impressed with the fact that she has these more animated tracks, these songs that have more hard-hitting instrumentation, just these really serene songs, these beautiful songs, these songs that are just more odd and kind of obtuse and off-putting. And yet it all kind of has this thread of beauty running throughout all of it. Toward the end of this LP, Julia continues to deliver some pretty decent songs like He's Running Through My Eyes, which is a very beautiful piano ballad, and This Is a True Heart is maybe the most bubbly, fancy-free track on this entire LP. It's kind of like a psychedelic, dreamy prance romp around through Candyland. However, the last track on this thing highlights one of the major overall issues that I do have with this record. With so many of these songs and this album in general being so abstract in terms of structure or flow, there aren't a lot of moments where I feel like these tracks come through with legit endings that feel like they deliver some kind of closure or some kind of cool down point where I feel like the finish is coming. The last track on this thing doesn't feel all too climactic or even really like a finisher for what themes and ideas are presented on Loud City Song. For the most part, lyrically, it brings a lot of the same themes that were delivered on the opening track here. Maybe it's a bit of a reprise. I guess this LP doesn't really end with a significant change because so much of what's here is based upon Julia's surroundings, and those haven't changed by the end of the album, or at least that's what it feels like. This LP is really more of a space that can be wandered through, as opposed to some kind of urgent tale that has a beginning and a middle and an end, which is pretty interesting considering how much pop music influences this album, and that's typically the mentality that flows through that kind of music. Overall, to me, the mood, the style, the production, the singing, the songwriting and melodies on this thing, incredibly solid, very enjoyable. Yeah, occasionally Julia does come off very Kate Bushy, really kind of wears her influences on those sleeves, but it doesn't ruin the experience for me because I think she's come together with a solid record that she could call her own. I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8 on this thing. But what do you think? Do you love Loud City Song? Do you hate it? Why? And what do you think I should review next? Only the Strong subscribe. All mistakes were intentional. Anthony Fantano. Julia Holter. Loud City Song. Forever.